the last thing that I want to take a look at here is how we could end up doing some composition with middleware. So one thing that you might not realize is that you can have multiple pieces of middleware in the same route. So for instance, if we wanted to have the same functionality on other routes to lock them down if you didn't have a user, instead of doing this, we can end up creating some middleware. And I'm going to take this code over here. And what I'm going to end up doing is just setting up the middleware so that what we could end up doing is we could say is logged in, which is going to be some middleware. And we could say request response next. And what we could do with this middleware, as long as it ends up getting called, after we end up having our header set up, which we have here, what we could end up doing here is we could say, hey, look, if there's not a request.user, we'll end up sending an error, right? Otherwise, and again, we don't even need an else here. We could just end up calling next. And what this would allow us to do is that when we have this get route, what we could end up doing is instead of having to do any logic here, we could say we want to use this middleware. And the way that this works is that we have basically this middleware chain. We're composing this. And it'll end up hitting this piece of middleware before it ends up hitting this. And if the user is not logged in, it'll end up throwing an exception here. So if in fact, we attempted to end up hitting this route without a logged in user, we could probably just do this with a curl request if we wanted to. So, localhost 3000 API auth, right? We'll end up getting this not authenticated message. And again, we can end up reusing this on any other route that we would end up wanting to lock down. So this becomes pretty useful so you're not repeating yourself a lot with your routes and being able to control which users have access to your route. So this could be something where users with different roles could end up accessing some specific routes, like an admin user or that sort of thing.